When we think about the ocean, we generally picture a deep, dark, sometimes unforgiving body of water that nevertheless allows humans to travel around the globe with relative ease. In fact, though, the ocean can be downright spooky. One prime example of this is the so-called Bermuda Triangle, an area of the western Atlantic Ocean off the coast of Florida, where countless ships and planes have supposedly met their demise. So what exactly is going on here? Well, today we're taking a look at some of the stranger incidents that have occurred in the Bermuda Triangle, and exploring the various theories behind why this particular patch of water seems to be such a graveyard for seafarers. Before we get started, though, be sure to hit that like button for more fascinating tales of the unknown. Also, stick around until the end if you want to learn about one of the most famous cases of supposed maritime paranormal activity. Now, the exact origins of the Bermuda Triangle myth are difficult to nail down, but the term didn't become widely used until the mid-20th century. Before then, however, there were already tales of strange occurrences in this part of the Atlantic. Perhaps the earliest reference to the area comes from Christopher Columbus himself, who reported in his journal on December 1492 that his compass was acting erratically while passing through the region. According to Columbus, he saw strange lights dancing in the distance, which has led some people to speculate that he may have actually witnessed the lights of crashed UFOs. However, scientists generally agree that his sightings were likely caused by natural phenomena such as phosphorescence or ball lightning. Still, given that this was long before the term Bermuda Triangle had been coined, it's possible that many sailors' stories from this era got lumped together into the modern mythology later on. In any case, the term Bermuda Triangle was first popularized in 1964 by writer Vincent Gaddis in Argosy magazine. In his piece, he describes the area as a deadly zone where vessels and aircraft vanish under strange circumstances. The term caught on, and soon stories of mysterious maritime disappearances were being attributed to the Bermuda Triangle. Some of the more famous alleged cases include the disappearance of the USS Cyclops in 1918. The Cyclops was a massive U.S. Navy cargo ship carrying over 300 men when it left Rio de Janeiro for Salvador, Brazil. Despite unusually heavy rains and rough seas, the ship was expected to arrive at its destination 2 days later. However, it never did. Days turned into weeks and the ship still hadn't arrived. So a search was launched. But after combing through the waters between Brazil and the U.S., nothing was found. To this day, no wreckage has ever been found, and the ship's final resting place remains unknown. The Cyclops vanishing without sending a distress call, making it the single largest non-combat loss of life in U.S. naval history. Another famous disappearance associated with the Bermuda Triangle is that of Flight 19. In December 1945, 5 U.S. Navy bombers took off from Florida for a routine training mission, but soon after takeoff, their compasses began to malfunction. Unable to navigate properly, the pilots struggled to keep their bearings. They attempted to contact their base, but communication was spotty at best. With their instruments failing, the pilots grew increasingly panicked. One pilot suggested they head towards an island, hoping to land there. Unfortunately, the group flew straight into the ocean and every plane in the formation was lost. A rescue plane was sent after them, but it too vanished. In just one day, 6 aircraft and 27 men were lost. It's one of the most devastating incidents in the history of aviation, and it helped to cement the Bermuda Triangle's reputation as a mysterious and dangerous place. These stories only scratch the surface of the so-called Bermuda Triangle mythos. There are countless other tales of ships and planes that have supposedly vanished within its boundaries, often with no trace. So what could be responsible for these mysterious disappearances? Well, there have been plenty of theories proposed over the years. Some researchers point to magnetic anomalies in the region as a potential cause. If the Earth's magnetic field is disrupted in certain areas, it could cause compasses to behave erratically, leading navigators off course. While there are some areas with slightly different magnetic readings, none of them line up with the supposed Bermuda Triangle. Others have blamed rogue waves. These are uncharacteristically large and unexpected rogue waves that can tower over the ocean surface and sink ships in mere moments. While they are rare, they are not unheard of in the Atlantic, and it's possible that some of the legendary Bermuda Triangle disappearances were caused by them. Still, others have pointed to methane gas eruptions. According to this theory, methane hydrates that have built up on the ocean floor release large amounts of gas bubbles when disturbed. This reduces the density of the water, causing ships to sink instantly. Interestingly, this theory is supported by a pair of researchers from the University of Miami. They studied sediment samples from the ocean floor and found high concentrations of methane gas. However, many geologists disagree with their findings, arguing that there is no evidence that the gas is released in large quantities. Of course, we can't talk about the Bermuda Triangle without mentioning the weather. Powerful hurricanes and sudden storms are common in this region of the ocean, particularly during hurricane season, which runs from June to November. High winds and pounding waves can easily overwhelm a vessel, especially if a storm comes out of nowhere. It's entirely possible that many of the supposed triangle mysteries were actually cases of ships lost at sea due to bad weather. Human error is also thought to play a role. Some researchers argue that navigational mistakes may explain many of the disappearances. The triangle itself is somewhat vaguely defined. Some say it stretches from Miami to Puerto Rico and Bermuda, while others say it includes parts of the Bahamas. Given the lack of precise boundaries, it's entirely possible that some of the so-called triangle incidents actually occurred well outside its borders. Of course, this leads us to wonder how many ships and planes have really been lost in the Bermuda Triangle. When researching this question, we came across several reports claiming that hundreds or even thousands of vessels had vanished within its boundaries. However, upon closer inspection, these numbers appear to be greatly exaggerated. Take, for instance, the claim that 500 planes and 20,000 ships have gone missing in the Bermuda Triangle. This figure appears in a number of online articles, but none of them cite a credible source. In fact, there doesn't seem to be any official record-keeping when it comes to the Bermuda Triangle. There are a handful of incidents that have received widespread attention, but beyond that, the true extent of maritime disappearances in the area is unknown. All of this brings us to the heart of the Bermuda Triangle mystery. Is this region of the ocean truly cursed, or is it simply the victim of circumstance? There's no denying that strange things seem to happen here. Ships and planes vanish without a trace, and compasses behave erratically. But many of these incidents can be explained by more mundane factors such as storms and human error. Some researchers, including Lawrence Kusha, who investigated the triangle in 1975, have even gone so far as to call the whole thing a hoax. Kushner combed through records of supposed triangle incidents and found that many of them were either exaggerated or based on faulty evidence. He also noted that insurance companies don't even classify the region as more dangerous than any other stretch of ocean. Ultimately, the truth is that we simply don't know what to make of the Bermuda Triangle. There are plenty of mysterious disappearances to go around, and the lack of concrete answers has allowed speculation to run wild. Whether you believe in UFOs, Atlantis, or time warps, there's probably a corner of the Bermuda Triangle myth that appeals to you. Personally, we're inclined to believe that the triangle is not so much a paranormal hotspot as it is an anomaly. Perhaps the ocean's currents, temperatures, and atmospheric conditions combine in such a way as to create odd readings and unpredictable weather patterns. Whatever the case may be, we're glad that we live in a time where we can question these strange occurrences rather than automatically ascribing them to the supernatural. And hey, if anyone out there does happen to stumble across a portal to another dimension, please let us know. We would love to take a look. So do you believe that the Bermuda Triangle is truly cursed? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like these. Thanks for watching. See you next time.